In this video, I'm going to be showing recent images of bitterns in flight photographed at RSPB Minsmere in Suffolk. For these images, I'm using the OM1 and the 150-400mm lens, mostly in conjunction with the 1.25 extender. All the pictures are taken from the public hides on the reserve, and this type of photography really is wait and see photography. Because bitterns are quite elusive birds, there's no guarantee they will show themselves.
In this video, looking at photographing bitterns. I'm at RSPB Minsmere, and this is a brilliant location for bitterns, and I've come up here, got here early morning for sunrise, and really not had a lot of luck today. It's a very hit and miss type of sort of photography. You go to the places like Minsmere, RSPB Lakenheath Fen, Strumpshaw Fen, very good areas for bitterns, lots of reed beds there, which is their habitat. But it's very hit and miss. I've come today, haven't seen a bittern at all. I've been here about 2 or 3 hours. And I came about 3 weeks ago and had a fantastic morning. They'd been showing really well. I'd seen pictures on Facebook, people had been putting pictures up there. And literally within half an hour of getting here, I'd had one that had flown in across this reed bed, this open water here. And it actually came, turned around and flew back towards me. So using the 150-400 with the 1.25 converter, I got a whole series of pictures of it as it was flying past me and towards me in beautiful lighting conditions. Today hasn't been anywhere near productive, and this is just one of these things you have to accept with this type of photography. They're not coming to bait or anything like that. It's their habitat, but it's really just a case of luck whether or not they're going to show. And certainly today doesn't look very productive. They do come out now, there's some beautiful lighting on them. So what I'm going to do is give it another hour or so and see what we get. But certainly if you ought to focus on this 150-400 on the OM1 locked onto them, and I got a whole burst of pictures. They're all pin sharp. But like a lot of photography, it is very hit and miss. You never really know whether you're going to be lucky or not. In fact, often as not, you go out more times than not, you're going to fail. So I came about 2 months ago and spent all morning in a different hide. This is the Island Mere hide. Just further up from there, there's the bittern hide, which is actually a raised platform hide. So that's very good indeed. And I'll give that a try in a little while. But today really hasn't been working well. It's very cold today. Whether that's actually sort of affected them, I don't know. But what I'll do is I'll finish the video up showing some of the pictures I took on the session about 3 weeks ago.
So these are some of the pictures that I took on the morning that the bitterns did perform. I say bitterns because at one point there were 4 bitterns in various areas around the reed beds that were in front of the hide. Looking out from Island Mere hide, you can see that the RSPB had recently cut back the reed beds, and that made seeing the bitterns a lot easier. I arrived in the hide at 7 AM in the morning, and even this early there were already 6 other photographers in there. The sun had just started to come up over the horizon, so the area in front of the hide was bathed in lovely warm lighting. Only a few minutes after arriving at the hide, a bittern flew in from the left-hand side. I'd only just got the camera out of my bag and switched the OM1 on when one of the other photographers said bittern coming in from the left-hand side. Once I had locked onto it in the viewfinder, I pressed the button and panned with it as it flew past. After the first few bursts, I realised I only had the lens set at 400mm, but with one flick of the switch on the side of the lens and the 1.25 extender was engaged, it flew in from the left and then turned round and flew back towards the hide, which enabled me to get a whole series of images as it flew past in beautiful lighting. As it turned back to fly from the direction it came, the lighting really made it stand out against the darker background of the trees. As it then flew past the hide, the water and the reed beds also made a lovely backdrop, and the light could not have been better. After about 20 minutes, another bittern walked out from the reed beds on the right hand side. It stood motionless for about 2 or 3 minutes before it took off, this time flying away from the hide. For these static shots, I simply rested the lens on the windowsill of the hide, and this made taking the pictures very easy. Things went a bit quiet for about an hour or so, but during this time a grey egret came down and took some portraits as well as a few shots as it flew off. Also, a heron came in front of the reed bed, so I managed to get a few portrait shots of this as well. Shortly after this, another bittern flew past. Initially it was further away, but on its second fly past it was closer in, and again I managed to get some half decent shots. After another hour or so, another bittern flew in and landed in amongst the reed beds on the left hand side of the hide. Although it was in the centre of the reed bed, the bird tracking on the OM1 picked it out successfully, and the autofocus locked onto the bird instantly. There was another OM1 photographer in the hide at the same time, and remarked how the autofocus was able to pick out and lock onto a subject even when there is vegetation in front of it. As I mentioned in the earlier part of the video, there are a lot more times when bird photography fails due to the birds not cooperating. Having days like this, when everything seems to come together well, makes the failure days more bearable. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll be notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching.